Ugh, get the thumb out of your mouth. You look like a baby. Did that little skit sound familiar? I hope not, but if it does, have you found it effective? Did the child stop sucking your thumb? Probably not, right? That's why you're here. I'm a board-certified pediatric dentist. I'm a mother of 3 kids, ages 6 and under, and I'm here to help you with your child's persistent thumb habit and how to wean from it. When we are trying to help a child nix a persistent thumb habit, and that's the key, we are helping them. We're not shaming them, we're not punishing them, we are helping them. It is crucial that we take in the psychological backdrop. What do I mean by that? We want to figure out what exactly are they getting from this habit? Is it comfort, predictability? Are they anxious? It's helping them feel more calm. Are they just tired and it helps them fall asleep? A sense of safety, pleasure? Are they getting attention from it, positive or negative? What are they getting out of it? And then the next thing you want to figure out is why. Why do they need it? What's been going on? Has something changed? Has there been a new baby? Did we move? Is there a new school? Did they lose a good friend? Am I shaming them? Which could be resulting in emotional distress and actually causing the opposite of what I'm hoping to achieve, which is the habit persisting rather than going away. If you were just thinking through the what and the why right now with me as I went through those, and you realize that your child has just experienced big change like a move, new school, new sibling, loss of a grandparent, then now may not be the time to wean. They may not be psychologically ready. And I encourage you to let it be and stop pushing it right now. Don't draw attention to it, positive or negative, just wait. Because the most important thing for them is to be in a state of stability, emotionally, psychologically, in order to be able to successfully make the change of stopping a persistent thumb habit. I know that might be hard to hear, but a lot of times it is just simply stepping back and relieving that pressure that actually allows the habit to disappear. Once your child is more stable, whether they've kind of come to that space on their own or you've even involved the help of a child psychologist or a therapist, it is then time to begin talking about the cessation or stopping that thumb habit. You want to be sure that they have a supportive environment, that everyone who's going to be engaging with this child, so the family, the teachers, the siblings, that they're not going to be shaming the child, they're not going to be pointing negative attention toward that child for the thumb habit, that it's all going to be collaborative and you're working together as a team to stop this habit. You also want to be fostering within them their own internal motivation to stop this habit. And you want to do that from a point of kind of information and not from shame or a sense of embarrassment or anything else. You want the internal motivation for external change to be coming from a positive place. So first, you want to get to the bottom with a child of what exactly they're getting from that habit, like we talked about before, and the why they think they need it. This is one of the best pieces of advice I've been given generally as a parent is get curious. Your child has an outburst, don't get defensive, don't be reactive, but get curious. Why, and ask them. You might be really surprised at just how intuitive they are and how they understand the why and the what of this thumb habit for them. Things you might be asking are, what are they receiving from it? Does it make them feel comfort, calm? Are they getting attention? Or on the flip side, is it something that's leaving them? Are they feeling release of anxiety, of tension, of loneliness, of stress? You're trying to identify an unmet need. Is that something that you can help them to fill in a different way? And then you can talk about together what that might be. A new lovey, one-on-one time with mom away from the baby, something like that. Hey, I noticed you've been sucking your thumb at bedtime. Does that help you feel more calm, you think? Help you get ready to go to sleep? Hey, I noticed Mr. Thumb sneaks in there when you watch TV by yourself. You think we could work to keep him out of there? Did you know that when I was little and I felt scared, I used to suck my thumb too? I sure did. What do you feel in your body when you want to suck your thumb? Understanding their why and this motivation is a crucial step in helping them build their own internal desire to stop. If your child needs some help with identifying their feelings when you're talking about this what and the why, these are some great books that I really like that I'll just kind of pop up here on the screen that I have read with all of my children, and they're just lovely, just giving them words and kind of understanding what these feelings are, that none of them are bad. Inside Out is also a great movie that can kind of accomplish the same purpose. And I will link all of those books for you in my shop, themomadentist.com/shop. I've got 2 sections for books. So after you have identified that why and the what, so say they're scared at bedtime of monsters under the bed, and that habit provides a sense of safety and comfort to them in that instance, you can then talk to them about other ways to meet that need, and you can help them to meet that need, perhaps even yourself. So you're coming up with a plan together. You're getting a new blanket, maybe a lucky pair of socks, cozy pajamas, a nightlight, a new stuffy friend, maybe 10 minutes of quiet snuggles with mom or dad before bedtime. That can help them meet that need in a different way, and you're working again collaboratively as a team to come up with a solution, and then to remind your child in a positive manner about that kind of agreement, that commitment, that plan. But Dr. M, what if they don't want to stop? That's what a lot of you will tell me. Well, they don't want to stop. And some of it I'll go back to. I really think there's the psychology of it, that when you are just supportive and you remove the pressure, a child that seemed very resistant suddenly no longer be. But what if you've done all of this? You're being super supportive. You're finding out the why and the what, and you're working as a team, and they still are like, no, I love my thumb, and it's stuck on it forever. One of the best things you can do is meet that with zero pushback and assure them of your love and support and acceptance regardless of what they choose to do. And that is the key. In the end, it is their choice, their thumb, their body. You You can't be with them 24/7, pulling that thumb out of there, putting an appliance in their mouth, glue something to their wrist, whatever it is. You cannot keep them from sucking their thumb if they really want to. I know that's a hard thing to let sink in, but in the end, it's their choice, and we have to honor that. We have to honor their autonomy, and we can guide them as their parents toward what we think is the right choice for their health and betterment, to have a healthy smile and teeth that aren't crooked. But in the end, it is their choice. And can they live a quality life and have a thumb habit that they've maintained into adulthood? Yes, there are people that do. It's not widely talked about, but there are plenty of adults that still suck their thumb. Is that what we want for our child? No, we don't want them to be teased. We don't want them to have trouble biting pizza. We don't want them to have crooked teeth. But this may be something that we need to let go of if they're really pushing and saying they are not ready. So please just make it abundantly clear that your love and acceptance of them does not hinge upon whether or not they are successful at stopping their thumb habit. That doesn't mean you can abandon all hope and not try. You can engage other adults, maybe friends of theirs, older siblings, cousins, people they admire, respect, their gym coach, their teacher at school, the dentist. You can try and involve people that in a supportive way, not a shaming way, will try and encourage that child, and again, to foster and build their own internal motivation to stop. The dentist can work with you by explaining to them some of the negatives of thumb sucking. It can make your teeth broken, make them not able to touch, make it hard to eat certain foods. It can make their speech sound different, so they might be teased at school. They can also get sick more often from germs that are out in the world that are entering their mouth from that thumb habit. There are a lot of kids that I've seen that have warts on their fingers that get warts in their mouth from a digit habit. But again, this is just providing information. That desire to change still has to come from them. And a lot of times, the more pressure they feel from you, the less desire they kind of build within themselves. They want to actually push back and not change. So keep it low stake. Just provide information and let them decide. One helpful tactic, especially with a little bit younger child, it's not a persistent habit into age 6, 7, 8, but we're like 3, 4-year-old, where they still have kind of magical thinking. They're not beyond the concrete reasoning stage yet, is to anthropomorphize the thumb. So to give it a name, I just call it Mr. Thumb when I talk to my patients about it, and you're making it about Mr. Thumb, not about the child. Mr. Thumb is sneaking into your mouth and trying to make your teeth crooked. Mr. Thumb, he is so, if we're doing Peppa Pig, he's so naughty. He's trying to get in there and make you sick by getting germs in your mouth. He is not nice. He is not your friend. What can we do to keep that mean old stinky Mr. Thumb out of there? I have a children's book idea. I really need to write about Mr. Thumb, and he's a super villain, and the whole family's out to fight him. It would be great. But one day, contact me, publishers, if you want to. Okay, Mr. Thumb, it is bedtime, and don't you even think about sneaking in there while Carson is asleep. No, I see you thinking about, nope, don't you make me get one of Daddy's stinky socks and put it on top of you to keep you from going in Carson's sweet little mouth with his cute little smile and his perfect little teeth. Don't you dare. No. But what having Mr. Thumb allows is you're separating that negative habit, any negative associations from the child, and then you can easily work as a team together to kind of make it fun and silly and playful when you're trying to help and remind your child about Mr. Thumb. So say a lot of times they suck their thumb sitting there watching TV, right? And you see it start to sneak up there. Instead of being like, Billy, get the thumb out of your mouth. Now it becomes, oh, Billy, oh no, Mr. Thumb is sneaking up there. Do you see him? Something like that. And it's just a different vibe. So now what if your child has decided they want to stop, but they want your help? What are some things we can do? Now, once you've overcome the most crucial aspect of this battle of stopping thumb sucking, which is building their own internal desire to stop, once you've done that, kind of downhill from there, it's just figuring out what tools work. And so I've got a lot of those next that I'll share with you. But just know that breaking a habit it takes about 21 days. So even when they're like, yes, I want to stop, they're still going to need help. They might backtrack, they might struggle, they might waffle, and just be supportive. Reiterate that your love and acceptance does not hinge upon whether or not they're successful, but emphasize that you believe they can do it, and you're going to help them along the way. The two big takeaways that you do not want to do when your child is wanting to stop a thumb sucking habit, and especially if they're not even wanting to stop, is to give it attention, positive or negative, almost especially negative, right? People say we remember, the one negative thing someone said about us over the 100 positive things they say, like negative attention. Negativity just has a really profound impact on us. So don't do the get that thumb out of your mouth, you're such a baby. That is awful. And so many dads or grandmas a lot of times are doing this. So try to get the whole family on board into not shaming that child about that thumb habit. The second thing is do not try to force that child to stop with an appliance that they do not want. I've seen many a parent come in with a child that had an appliance, an orthodontic appliance glued to their teeth. It is permanently attached. They cannot take it out, and they did not want it. That, I think, is just violating their autonomy, especially an older child, 6, 7. That is violating their autonomy. That child did not want that, and it is not honoring them, and you're not going to get good compliance. They're just going to resent you. It's going to do harm to your relationship. Is it really worth that to have them stop that thumb habit? I would argue no, I don't think so. So you want something like that, a bonded retainer, a thing around their wrist, to be something that they buy into, that they want as a tool to help them, but it is not something that you should use when they are not willing or interested at all. So these are some helpful things that can serve as reminders or tools to help them and help you help them along their journey to stopping thumb habit. And the key to all of these is that you're using it willingly with the cooperation of the child. One, and my favorite, is a family member's stinky sock. And so you can talk to a kid, especially 3, 4, where they're again still silly, magical thing. You're like, ew, that's stinky Mr. Thumb. We need to cover him with Dad's smelly gym sock. Wouldn't that be so gross? We should cover him up, and then he's definitely not going to sneak into your mouth because he's super stinky. So making it silly, and it's just kind of funny, and that, I don't know why, I share that a lot in the office, and that ends up being a simple, cheap trick, and it works pretty well. 2 is the flavored nail polishes. Mavala and Nixit are some of the most common ones. When they're absent-mindedly going to suck their thumb, it just reminds them to take it out. It does not work, again, on a child that doesn't want to. I have seen kids that want to suck that thumb. They do not care. They are resistant to that nasty taste. They slurp it all off and they keep going. So it's key is it serving as a reminder for a child that wants to stop. A Band-Aid, you can wrap a Band-Aid around their finger. That can have a similar effect. Just a reminder. They feel it. They're like, oh shoot, I was putting that in my mouth. 3, you can get these scratch sleeves that cover their hands. Those are really helpful for nighttime. You see them sold. They're like scratch mitt sleeves for kids with eczema that scratch at night, but you can use them for a thumb habit as well. Similarly, at nighttime, you could wrap loosely an ace bandage around their elbow joint of the arm that they typically bring up. You just loosely wrap an ace bandage around that arm, and they're not as easily able to bring it up there. That can help them, but again, loose, because it's going to be at nighttime. You don't want to like cutting off circulation, and it has to be something they want to use. I like the one that kind of wraps around the hand and has the little thingy, the guard on the thumb. Those can be helpful tools, especially for a child that's awake. It's more during the daytime. I think those are effective, but at night might be helpful too. It's just a little bit uncomfortable for them trying to sleep in, but those can help just again serve as reminders and tools to help them keep that thumb out of their mouth. And then lastly, orthodontic appliances. So there are things called like tongue stabbers, little brackets with pokey things. They can bond to the back of teeth. They also have retainers. They bond to the teeth with little like spikes sticking out of them. Those seem kind of barbaric to me. My favorite one is called a bluegrass appliance, because again, we're not trying to deter them, punish them. This is if they're willing, they want some help, right? And so then I like this bluegrass appliance. It's just a bead on a wire, and it's just something that they can actually get some sensory, some stimulation just from their tongue. They can like push and play with the bead, but if they try to put their thumb in there, it's not going to be able to get the suction against the top of their palate like they normally would. And so it's just more of a reminder for them to not have the thumb in there, and then a deterrent in a mild way, because they just don't get that pleasure from the kind of suction that they normally would. So I hope you found some answers and perhaps a little bit of peace here about your child's thumb sucking habit. Your kid is amazing, and whether or not they stopped sucking their thumb, that's not going to change that. If you made it all the way through this video, you're an amazing caregiver too. You really care about them. You want to help them and support them. And now you're armed with a lot more information, I think, to do that really well. I promise your child can still be an Olympian if they have a thumb sucking habit that persists. They can still be the president. They can still be a dentist. Did you know a lot of dental professionals actually had persistent thumb habits? Probably speaks a bit more to our like personality type A anxiety bends. I used to pass it till preschool. But if you want to learn a little bit more background about non-nutritive sucking habits like the thumb, and then what jaw and tooth changes can occur, you can go back to my part 1, and I'll share that video here with you so you can find it easily.